Hey guys, hope y'all are having a good Wednesday. Welcome to the Fantasy Livewrite. I'm gonna write a book. We're getting to the end of our book here. Down to the very end. I'm excited to finish it off. Turn that light down a bit. I'm excited to finish it off and be able to move on to other projects. Maybe write another book. I don't know. We'll find out. I may cut this one short because I might be needed to help clean up stuff. Across the street, my neighbor had a funeral for his son who died unexpectedly. So we had funeral mass today, funeral reception over there. I left that to go take care of my kids and stuff like that. So go back over there to help them clean up. All right, let's get this going here. All right, here's the book. Look at this. So this is kind of a funny thing, is like halfway through this, I was like, oh yeah, I need to, I don't have chapter names. I just have like, what's happening? So like in this one, there's werewolves. They're not really werewolves, right? They think that they're werewolves, but they're actually something mundane. They're just regular wolves. It's an important moment where they are going deeper into kind of the unknown. They've seen something kind of fantastical in the previous chapter, and now they're going to see something that is just mundane. Before they get into they meet the Mad Knight, things are going to get crazier. I've thought about actually reversing the order of these. So like first they do the wolves, then they meet the Mad Knight, then they come across the bandits and the mimic, the treasure chest that's shaped like a monster, or the monster that's shaped like a treasure chest, the mimic. Then they get deeper into the mountain. I thought about changing the order of that so that there's more of like a descent into madness, but it kind of works like this in terms of the character development. It works good to kind of reverse those things and have them be occurring in different orders. So so Victoria ends up being a little bit wrong in that one, And then I'll take a look at that. In revisions, I always have that option, right? I can always just move those chapters around so they happen in different orders without really having to rewrite anything. So if we want things to get kind of weirder as we go, we can change the order of that, and it's no big deal. Kind of cool. Go down to the bottom here. Big battles. Okay, we're in the big battles. And I think I have all this stuff listed for what's going on. All right. All right, so we're going to have like a little dragon battle. I'm going to do a little highlight here to let myself know. Why is all this blacked out? That's weird. Viewing. Allow editing. Autosave on? Why is this file read only? Hold on, let me figure this out. Maybe I got logged out of something. There it goes. I can also try closing this and like reopening it real quick. Extremely weird. There it goes. That's a little better. Don't know what's going on there. All right. Okay, let's highlight this. All right. Okay. Okay. Have you read Red Rising? If so, would you consider doing a review video on it? I love your takes. I don't think I've read Red Rising. Red Rising. Who wrote this? I have not read it. Sorry. Dystopian science fiction novel. That's why I skipped it. It might be good, but like I just started avoiding dystopian everything. This came out in 2014. Yeah. That's probably why I avoided it. Might check it out though. I don't know. Can't say for sure. But like it was definitely from a time where I'm like, I don't want anything to do with dystopian science fiction. That's not for me. I think they just kind of like overdid the market on dystopian science fiction stuff. By the way, if you like that music, I'll share it with you. I rather liked that song that I did. It was pretty interesting. All right. Here, let's look at YouTube real quick. Let's take a break. Let's look at my feed on the Zool, my Zool account. Because like it's really interesting. The feed is giving me my own videos, which is great. It knows I like to watch my own videos. Same thing if I'm on my main account. Right? We got a base video, Nate Navarro. That's probably cool. The end of the continuous delivery channel by Continuous Delivery. This guy's got like a Star Wars shirt on with rainbows. What are the over and under that this guy would hate me and want me dead? Do you guys think? I don't know. It's always interesting when doing something like this pops up, right? There's maybe nothing harmless with rainbows. Rainbows are cool, you know? I like rainbow stuff. But like generally if I see Star Wars and rainbow, I'm like, is this from like the Disney gay days or something? And, you know, this is another thing about YouTube is like, there's this genre of YouTube video that the algorithm likes it, which is like, I'm quitting YouTube. Is YouTube done? Am I done with YouTube? Right? Like these videos where I'm like, my channel is dying. So I'm going to make a video about that. It's a really popular like YouTube format. And it's I'm tempted to click it. I'm like, I don't know why your channel is or why you're quitting, but it's probably going to be the same thing I've heard a million times before, which is like, my videos used to get views and now they don't get views. My audience used to like what I'm doing and now they don't care about what I'm doing. I used to be able to make money. Now I can't make money. So that must mean I'll have to stop the channel because I can't make money doing it. It's like, yeah, I can understand that perspective, right? Like time is a zero-sum game. Whatever you spend time doing one thing, you can't spend it doing another. So I get people that feel like they need to back off the content creation because they're not making a lot of money at it. This includes me, by the way. I used to make more content, but you know, there's not a big financial difference between me making like 30 pieces of content a month and me making like 3 a month. So it's better to just do fewer unless I am actively trying to sell another product. So you actually, I'll clue everybody in on what's going on for March because I haven't talked about this much. So I might do a separate announcement video talking about this stuff. So I got a crowdfund. I need to link it actually. So I'll link you guys the crowdfund for King Leper. King Leper's finally coming out. Yes, the myth of a novel that I've been teasing for like 2 years. Yes, it's finally coming out. So here is the yeah, it's not I started avoiding dystopian stories when I started living them. Yeah. Yeah, it does look like an old shirt, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that shirt at Disneyland. So that's why I'm thinking of it. And a lot of the older Star Wars stuff doesn't have like a 6-color rainbow. It's just got like 3 colors and stuff. So I don't know. Anyway, it just makes me think of that. It's probably a fine series. Going back to Red Rising, it's probably a fine series. It's just definitely around the time that was coming out, I just wasn't into dystopian anything. It just was not on my, I was just bored of it. I was just done with it, right? It's kind of like cyberpunk. People are like, cyberpunk this. I'm like, it's just retrofuturism. Like it's like goggling over steampunk. It's an aesthetic that you like, that you think is cool, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't have anything to say about people or our world anymore, and it hasn't for a while. It's like, I'm literally a cyborg, and you are all figuratively cyborgs. You're probably a couple people watching it on their phone, aka their portable telepathy device. I don't know where my phone is. Oh, here it is, right? Where's my telepathy device, right? This is a cybernetic device when you think about it. It allows telepathy. We can call someone and just talk to them using their phone. Like, it's amazing. It's an amazing piece of technology. So, like, the future turned out differently than what we thought it would be in the 80s and 90s, and that's fine. The whole point of cyberpunk in the 80s and 90s was to, like, show a dark future, a dystopian future that maybe we'd want to avoid. And in some ways we avoided it, and in other ways the dystopia came. It just wasn't what we conceived of it. We conceived of this transhumanist dystopia where, like, corporations rule everything, and we got that, but not in the way that we thought. We don't have like robotic arms. We have, we have a smartphone. A smartphone is basically a neuro implant, even though it's not part of your body. And we don't want the smartphone to go any further, to be honest. We don't want it to integrate into our body, even though it basically is. It's with us all the time. It might as well be integrated in our body. But if it's not, we have the option to walk away from the phone. You don't want to lose that option, right? Now, when I say I'm literally a cyborg, I have an implant in my head. I don't have my hearing aid hooked up to it right now, but I have an implant in my head. I have a bona fide sensory implant. Rush Limbaugh was a cyborg. Funny thing, way back when I used to learn guitar, and I saw a few of your videos some years later, I end up in a group chat on Twitter, and I think to myself, why does this guy David look so familiar? Yeah, it's me. I'm the guitar guy from YouTube too. I did a lot of early guitar stuff. I've actually made a lot of those videos private over the years because, it just the people who comment on them started to annoy me, and it's like it's low production value because I made it with my smartphone in like 2011 or something. So no one was doing really high quality videos. Like, people were just starting to upload HD videos on YouTube. So I was doing a lot of 720p videos on my phone. But yeah, like the people, you're going to see videos on like Instagram guitarists and stuff like this. This is on AI, maybe something else on Windows. I don't know what this is. AI. So like a bunch of AI subject stuff, and then music. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like weird that they're suggesting me. Apparently I watched a Nile Red video, how to make gold. Right. And then I'll just click one of these, right? This is a new one. People like this one. I didn't release it when I recorded it for some reason. But here it is now. I recorded this. It's alternate 36. So I recorded it probably in 2023. I think I recorded it in 2023. I'm not sure. I got a soda in the background. That's nice. Yeah. Dude, did you eat the last unicorn? I still have that shirt too. Oh man, what was I on about? Yeah. So cyberpunk doesn't have a whole lot to say, but there was this like big trend in dystopian fiction following the success of Hunger Games. Where everyone was trying to do some young adult, futuristic, dystopian something, and that was like the hot ticket for a while, and everyone was trying to get in on it. And I just got bored of that. So there was probably good books released in that set that I just never read because they were part of a trend that I just didn't want to be part of. Just like how there's probably like good vampire books that came out in the 2000s that I didn't watch or didn't read because I didn't like Twilight. Now, I've since read Twilight and have a different opinion of it. I don't like Twilight, but I know who it's for, and knowing who it's for makes me appreciate it a lot more. I think it's great for what it is. It's just not, it's clearly not a book written for old men. No books for old men. Divergent and Maze Runner come to mind in that genre. Yes. And what was another one? There was one, Ready Player One. Boy, that was a stupid book. It's like Gen X or Gen Y, the book. Like, there's a bunch of references to pop culture stuff. It's the Running Man. It's the plot from Running Man or something, but with pop culture. It's like, okay. And like the way it's written, Ready Player 2 is 100 times more obnoxious, but even Ready Player 1 was just mega obnoxious. And it feels like that fell off the planet. Like once people stopped reading that, they really stopped giving a shit about it at all. You know, one of those, sometimes you get those trends that people are like, I don't even remember that. It's like, yeah, dude, pop culture references were like this big trend. For years, they were like a trend in entertainment until we ended up with Ready Player One, and then it just went away. It just stopped being a thing. Weird how that happens. But yeah, Divergent. I had forgotten about Divergent. I bet if you were to talk to people about this, like, dude, you remember Divergent? They'd be like, oh, I remember that. I don't, what happened in it? I don't remember. Yeah. My brother-in-law's texting me. Wait, my wife's texting me. I just found that their freezer's broken, so I'm trying to help with that. Let me know if the kids are making a problem. Okay, my wife's helping the neighbors. My brother-in-law says he thought gear was too expensive back then. I said one of the problems with me buying gear, like guitar pedals, right, is they're too freaking expensive. They're like $300, $400 they want for these things. You know, like I found this good Fender pedal, and like the retail on it's $400. You can get a deal on Amazon for $350 for this delay reverb pedal. It sounds great. It's a great sounding pedal, but I realized like all of my anchoring bias is towards what things costed in like 1998, which is like, it's a guitar pedal. It should be $50, you know? And then I look it up and I'm like, oh yeah, it's really hard to get even a used digital delay for like under $100. These were cheap pedals like in the 90s. So like me not wanting to pay $500 for like a really advanced guitar pedal is just me going like, pedals shouldn't be $500. My Rat pedal was $70. You know, actually, I don't think I paid that much for it. I bought it used. You know, I remember I bought a Holy Grail reverb for $45, brand new. I got an analog delay on a trade, and we valued it at $20. I got all of these pedals over the years I got for way less than $100. So now I see them and they're like, now the prices have crashed. They've crashed the last couple of weeks. So now might be a really good time to buy pedals. I just bought a Big Sky. I bought the Big Sky, the first one, because the second one wasn't doing anything I needed. It's like, you can load in your own reverbs. I'm like, the whole point is that it's in this. If I want to do my own reverbs, I can load up. I can do it on my computer. I can do it on Ableton. I want an outboard thing for my amp, right? I got it used for way cheaper. Like, you know, retail on it's like $480 still, I think. $500 with tax for like a reverb pedal. Holy crap. But you can get it for like less than $300 if you look around. And you buy it used. And it's just still just as good. But yeah, people are trying to unload their gear on reverb. There is a ton of pedals on reverb right now. Yeah, gear's gotten even more expensive now. However, the clones have gotten really close. Even flying a little too close to the sun with the circuits. Yeah. So the Behringer pedals, I've actually heard good things. There's also Donner pedals. I'm really tempted to buy this Donner Yellowfall for $50, which will actually be like as good as two pedals in one that I could just use. Yeah, it's like the boomer relatives, what they think you should have spent on a house. They're like, why would you spend this much? Why would you pay $400,000 for a house? It's like, because that's what it costs to not live in the ghetto. And it's like, oh, well, when I bought my house, it was $180,000, and we thought we were breaking the bank. It's like, you were, but that was 1990. That was 1990. It's 2025. That house is worth $500,000. You know, even in Houston, even in East Texas and stuff, like, the houses are worth way more than they used to be. You know, that's like, here, I found this house for $150,000. You can buy. It's like that. That's in Section 8 housing. That's a Section 8 rental house. Your neighbors are going to be cooking meth and like throwing their human feces over your fence because their plumbing broke. You know, like, it's you have to pay to not live that in a situation like that. Yes, baby boomers could buy a starter home and not have their car vandalized or have their catalytic converter stolen out of their car any given night. They could buy a starter home and not worry about someone breaking in and killing them. It ain't like that anymore. You can't, if you buy a starter home, you need to be a single man who's strapped all the time. It's much worse for women. I had a friend, and I've talked about this before, not to pontificate too much, but like, I had a friend in LA, and she only would rent apartments on the 3rd floor for safety reasons. You couldn't get in through the sliding glass door. And she could only buy apartments. She could only rent apartments that were expensive enough to like have a gate and stuff like that. And yeah, a huge portion of her income was going to rent, but she was a single woman. Like, she's just more vulnerable than a man is going to be, as far as being a victim. Like, people are victims all the time. So like, yeah, she had to pay more. She had to pay more to have that safety. Versus me, I'd be like, I would have lived in the crappy apartment for $600 and just like plugged my ears when my neighbors were screaming and shot people that came in through my door. And it's like, yeah, but not everyone can live that way. Not everyone can handle the equivalent of army barracks in a hellhole, right? You can't do it. I'm still hoping that somehow we get a future similar to what the 1939 World's Fair envisioned. I think we can. I actually think we're close, right? We have a soft and sweet dystopia, but I think we can actually have a very, very good future. Nirvana is not for this world. There's always going to be problems, but the question is whether people are going to be willing to accept the trade-offs to have some problems, but have a lot of the good stuff too. For the most part, the free market has delivered us a lot of really, really, really good products at a very, very low cost, to the point where all you really need to get to have the highest standard of living in the United States is get to the middle class. If you can get to the middle class or the upper middle class, you actually are living as good as anyone when you stop and think about it. So let me talk about this. I'm going to have a piece of content that's specifically about this, right? But I'll pontificate because I think it's fun. Okay. A new iPhone. It's $1,000, let's say. $1,000 for your iPhone. Hey, that's not cheap. Baby boomers will be like, you buy $1,000 smartphone. The point is, for that $1,000, you have the best phone that you can get. You have the newest iPhone. You have a phone that is just as good as President Trump's phone. In order to have a phone that's better than the best phone available, you just have to, like, I don't know, coat it with gold or something to like make it more expensive. So you go to Dubai and you get like a gold-plated iPhone. But it's not better. It's not better than, so you can buy the best phone available, right? I think about this with guitars, it's like, hey, you could buy the best electric guitar available for like less than $4,000, which is a lot of money. But not that much. It's not like buying a Stradivarius, right? Everyone can buy a good guitar pretty much, right? You could save up and do that. You can buy a Tesla. You could buy the best car, right? People who are doing good, they can afford the car payment on a Tesla, right? You don't have to be filthy, stinking rich to buy a Tesla. You have to be upper middle class. You can't own a yacht. What's the point of owning a yacht? What are you doing with a yacht? You're going on cruises. So instead of buying a yacht, if you're middle class, upper middle class, you can buy a ticket on a cruise ship. It's better than a yacht because it's full of people that you get to talk to and hang out with. Maybe do other things with if that's your thing, right? You could go on the 70,000 tons of metal cruise and listen to heavy metal the entire time. You actually can't buy that for any price, no matter how rich you are. Like Elon Musk would have a hard time doing his own 70,000 tons of metal cruise, right? But like, you know, but that's just it's expensive, but it's a person of middle class means could save up for and do that thing. So do you want to be on a yacht all the time? Probably not. So you just rent the yacht, right? You know, do you need a private jet? Why do you need a private jet? You can buy a ticket on a plane. You know, first class costs more than coach, but they go the same place. So, you know, I want to go to Thailand. Anyone can buy a ticket to Thailand, right? You know, you don't have to be filthy, stinking rich to buy a ticket to Thailand and go visit Thailand. You can just do that. Just save up some money. Middle class people can go to Thailand if they want to. So the idea of traveling the world, like I want to be Rockefeller and travel the world. It's like you could travel the world as a data clerk. Like you could travel the world as a public school teacher. You have 3 months off a year as a public school teacher, and you can use any of those to travel the world with your salary. You know, are you going to want to spend all of your time traveling? Probably not, right? So it's better to like buy the package from the tourist company and then go to Jerusalem. You go on your pilgrimage and have fun with that. So yeah, the best phone. You don't have to be Elon Musk to buy the best phone, to buy the best car, to go on a cruise, right? So you rent the yacht, right? You can even Airbnb a really nice house on the beach for a week, right? Do you need to own a beach house? No, you just Airbnb it. You just rent it for a week, for the week that you want to go there. So like being rich, there's a really low threshold to exceed for being rich when you stop and think about it. Now, people who are below that are gonna be like, well, that's impossible for me to like, you know, rent an Airbnb. But it is possible eventually to get into the middle class and have enough income that you can save up and do the things you want to do. You don't have to be filthy rich. And the reality is like, you know, can Elon Musk buy a better computer than you? Maybe. But like, if he bought I'm picking a PC, like, you know, Elon Musk doesn't have a better PlayStation than you. He has the same PlayStation, right? He might be able to buy a better gaming PC, but people save up and buy gaming PCs. So you can have the exact same experience as the richest person on earth simply because there's only so good a quality components you can buy for your computer. Right? There's no $15,000 video card that's going to give you an extra 100 frames per second, right? It's like RTX 5090. That's the best that you can get. That's the best that you can get. There's a Core i9. That's the best processor you can get. There's a certain motherboard. There's a Z whatever. That's the best processor best motherboard you can get. You can get the best. Like there's only the best is not that expensive relative, right? To the things that we think of what rich people buy. Like, oh, this rich person has a 100-room mansion. Okay, what are you doing with that? Are you having 100 guests over? Yeah, like you don't have to be William Randolph Hearst to enjoy the benefits of William Randolph Hearst. In fact, you can go visit his house right now. You can go to Hearst Castle in San Simeon in California, and it's really cool. You can just go there, man. You could fly to California, rent a car, and drive up there and enjoy Hearst Castle. I don't think they let you swim in the pool anymore. When I was a kid, they let you swim in the pool. So you could have swam in William Randolph Hearst's pool for $50 or something. Like, you know, it's crazy, right? It's crazy to think about, you know. For that $1,000 now, it's something far better than most things that cost much over a decade or two ago. Exactly, right? Like the iPhone that is the best that you can get, that is the same one Donald Trump uses, is 1 billion times better than any phone 30 years ago that anyone could buy, that any rich person could buy. Milton Friedman had this thing about this, which is like the biggest benefit of capitalism has been to the common man, because Before there was running water, there was running servants. This is what he said. So a king didn't really need indoor plumbing because he had servants to empty his crap for him. It's the people at the bottom and the middle that get to enjoy indoor plumbing because of capitalism, because of this wealth creation where they don't really have to be wealthy to have an incredible modern convenience of your waste being flushed away and treated for you by specialists that are hired to do that. Like, it's amazing when you think about it. You know, we take a lot of things for granted, right? Teslas aren't the best car, though. Teslas are the best cars. So when I say that, what do I mean? Right? Can you buy a faster car? Yes. Where are you driving that car? Right? I've had friends that have Ferraris. Where do they drive them? If you're really rich, you can rent time at the racetrack and drive them. But it turns out anyone can do that if you wanted to. You can actually rent, like you can go to Vegas, rent a Lamborghini, and drive it on a racetrack. So that's like within reach of normal people to be able to drive that. And then are you going to be driving it any other day? No, it's not safe. It's not convenient. It's not comfortable, but it's fun to rent it. So you can rent that rich person experience. That's my point. You can rent it for as much as you really would want it, and you can have that experience. And the truth is, you could buy the best car in the world. After a week, it's just your car. It just becomes the new normal. I got this new BMW. Next week, it's like, it's just your car. It's just your car that you drive 30 miles an hour to HEB to buy groceries or to pick up your groceries. You know? But like, yeah, the Tesla is the best because it just does things the best. It's a self-driving car, and upper middle class people can buy that self-driving car, right? They could finance a self-driving car or rent it. They could rent it if they wanted to too. So as far as like general convenience, what people use a car for, like commuting, like Teslas are really good at that. Basically, middle class has the same access. It's just not necessarily the same luxury. It can be pretty close, right? People were really shocked. I remember there was like some YouTuber, CoffeeZilla or someone, came out with this thing. It's like, Dan Bilzerian doesn't even own his house. It's like, I don't remember him ever saying he did, right? Like he had this house in San Diego that was like the Iron Man house or something. I think I went to it one time. And he rented it, right? Why would he buy it? Because buying it costs money and it costs time. You rent it for when you want it, and when you're done with it, you just stop renting it. You know, rich people will tend to rent those things. So technically, a lot of these mansions, you could rent them as an Airbnb for a week. Now, that's probably out of reach of most people because it would be a really expensive Airbnb. But like, if you wanted to throw a massive party in a $100 million mansion, you could actually rent that mansion for a week. A lot of people don't realize it. Say you could like Airbnb the mansion and have a big party at it. Have a big blowout for your 30th birthday or something, or spend a bunch of money if you want to, or have a wedding. Like, it's a superfluous and stupid waste of your money, in my opinion, but it would be within the reach of a lot of people to rent a giant house for a week. It might cost them $5,000, $10,000, but you could do it. Like, a lot of these houses are just owned by like holding groups and corporations that rent them. They just rent them out. No one lives in these giant mansions. They're just for rich people to rent and have fun with. Well, you could rent it and have fun with it, you know? Yeah, imagine the staff to maintain a 100-room mansion and having to think about that. You have to hire someone just to manage that. If you own a yacht, it's the same thing. You got to maintain that yacht. You got to hire someone to take care of the yacht. You're thinking about the yacht, you know? It's for the birds, man. I wouldn't want a yacht, you know? I wouldn't want a yacht. Most celebrity mansions from the MTV show Cribs were rentals. Yep. Sometimes rented just for the show. Absolutely. I think you are completely correct. And from my knowledge of a little bit of that scene, yeah, everybody rented stuff. They didn't buy it because why would you want a super expensive mansion? You're going to pay the property tax on that. You got to maintain it, right? It becomes a headache, and you don't really need to live in it, you know? So just rent it for what you want to do with it, and then when you're done with it, bye-bye. Go somewhere else. On the other hand, some things have gone downhill. I have an electric alarm clock from 1937. That's rad. The manufacturing quality is better than the modern alarm clock. Solid brass clockwork. Yeah, that's true. So some things have gotten crappier, like razors. If you get old safety razors or straight imperial straight razors from 100 years ago, like that steel is so high quality, it'll last forever. The safety razors, which you can buy like 10-cent Japanese steel blades to go in, they cut so much better than like the modern plastic garbage razors. But they're more expensive, to buy the thing at least, right? So some things have gotten worse. We use plastic. We use a lot more plastic, injection molded plastic, which makes things, the plastic rots away, makes things not last as long versus like all brass construction, like you mentioned. So some things have like gotten worse, but a lot of things have gotten better. And one of the things that I think about too is like, yes, that alarm clock is really nice. It's probably an awesome alarm clock. Did everyone have access to that alarm clock at the time? And the answer was probably not. We made things to last, but it might have been more expensive to buy that thing compared to like income at the time. And as we go through time, we just become richer as a society. More stuff is sitting around to buy, own, hold, trade. So you can get cool old antique stuff that has lasted. It's past that filter of time where the crappy stuff from 1937 has just gone to the dump, and the good stuff kind of got preserved. But there's so many alarm clocks and people don't really need them because they have phones, that you can buy one for a pretty reasonable price and just have it. Like the alarm clock I wanted to buy was this pyramid. It's the Seiko pyramid alarm clock from the 80s that talks, right? You hit it and it tells you the time. My grandpa had one because he went blind. He had this like talking alarm clock thing. In fact, I think I still have a watch that talks of his that they gave to my son so that he could put it on his wrist and like press it and it would say, it's 4:30. I don't know. I've pontificated too long on that. We should get back to the book. Another ad. But yeah, like some things were better made in the past. I believe cars were made to be more durable in the past, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily better performance, right? Like the parts are more durable, but they're heavier, so the gas mileage is worse, right? The parts are more durable, but they're made with less tight specifications, so they're not as efficient, right? So there's pluses and minuses to like the way things have changed over time, like with cars, for example. I think like a 69 Mustang is going to be if you still have one sitting around, obviously it's a very durable car. It's probably going to be more durable than a lot of newer automobiles because of the lack of plastic on it. But if you really maintained a newer automobile, I think it would last a really long time too. And they're better than the old ones in a lot of ways. They're more comfortable, better efficiency, they're faster. A Tesla will outperform a 1969 Mustang for what most people want a car to do, which is to drive, accelerate fast, get them where they need to go. And a Tesla could drive you there. That's like the features on a Tesla are pretty rad when you think about it. It's pretty cool that people can make $100,000 a year and buy a Tesla, buy a car that drives itself. What? That's like fantasy world. We're like in fantasy world when you think about some of this stuff. I'm telepathically talking to you guys, writing a book on a computer. It's wild. You're one of the only real creators on the site. Thank you. I'm creating right now, sort of. I'm pontificating. But yeah, that's solid stuff. And I by the way, I think this about guitars as well too, is that like you can get a really good guitar made in Indonesia now, like so cheap. Way better than you used to get 20, 30 years ago. It's amazing how much quality you can get in a guitar for as little money as you get now. However, are they as better made as like the American made guitars from like the 60s? And the answer always comes up as like, no. There was more labor, there was more detail put into the old ones, better selections of woods, especially as time went on. Early 50s, like they were just throwing whatever into Stratocasters, but as time went on, they like the selections of woods, the woods were more mature. It's kind of like when people show the pictures of the old wood in the house, and it's like really tight grained, and the new wood is like really loose, like because it's from a really fast growing tree instead of an old growth. It's like that. So like the older stuff in a lot of cases really is better. Older amps are often better. They're more reliable in a lot of ways. They were made to be really robust. They were hand wired. You know, it's not a bunch of digital crap that when it breaks down you have to throw the thing away. If your tube amp from 1969, and I've had amps from the 60s, so if your tube amp from 1969 breaks down, you could take it to a guy who knows what he's doing, or look it up on the internet now and fix it yourself with a soldering iron. Change out a cap, change out a pop, maybe whatever it is. Put a different tube in it, and it's good to go. It's good to go, you know. I don't know about the legality of the self-driving feature. I'm not sure about that. I don't have a Tesla, so I haven't like looked deeply into it because I'm not really considering using the self-driving feature. But like, it is a cool idea that you could have your car drive and then you could pay attention to a conversation a little bit better. You're supposed to be monitoring what the car does. And it doesn't really deal with those tail cases. Like if I was driving in traffic, I don't know. But if you're just like driving to the store car and then it goes, I'm like, whoa. One single family house is enough all normal people need. Yeah. Later, the dream of a small retreat by the sea or country is still an okay and feasible dream. And see, my thing is like, instead of having the small retreat by the sea, you Airbnb it, right? Like, if I want to go visit my sister-in-law in Monterey, California, I can't afford to live in Monterey, California. I can't afford a vacation home there, but I could rent an Airbnb for a week. And it's like I have a vacation home for when I want to actually go there at just a fraction of the price. And then when someone else needs it the next week, they get to have it. Like, renting has allowed us to have access to things that we normally couldn't have. It's pretty cool when you think about it. Better than like a hotel room. It's like a vacation home. Oh, it's down by, we can walk down to the museum or the beach. Cool. Anyway, I pontificated enough. I get on my high horse and I talk about this crap for 45 minutes at a time instead of doing what I'm supposed to do, which is write some words. Okay. All right, so we did this. We're just going through our event sequence. We're going to do this one. We're going to cut to Victoria. Yeah, the flip side is that ownership is control, and without ownership, access can be taken away. Yeah, so what are the things that you really need to own? Right? Well, I think you need to own a car and a house. I think that needs to be in a realm there. Do you really have control over your house? That's another debatable thing too, right? Right. And streaming services, right? You're renting the music in essence. People love them because they're convenient, but the thing that you love, you may not be able to get anymore. Which I think that's why it's really important to maintain physical copies of anything you really, really love. Because that access can be taken away. You need to be able to find ways to own the things that you really don't want to lose access to. By the way, you can buy physical copies of my books on Amazon.com, like Water of Awakening here. Or you can order a signed copy of King Leper. Will your other books be included in the Kickstarter? You can check out actually, I don't know if you can check out the different rewards yet. So yeah, if you buy the signed hardcover, it comes with ebooks of a bunch of other books. The physicals, you can just buy those on Amazon if you want to. I'm not offering signed physical copies unless there's like some overwhelming demand for I want all 3 physical books. So, I mean, I'll use this a little bit as market research. Like if people want some package that includes all 3 physical books, I can do that. And I can print those up. But the original plan was just the King Leper hardback. And that jacketed hardback will only be available through the Kickstarter. After that, it's going to be the laminated hardbacks. That's what we're going to get after that. So they look like, here we are. Yeah, they look like this. Where it's a hardback, but it's like a textbook. It's laminated. This is actually better than a dust jacket, but we've associated dust jackets with literature, because desk jackets allow a book to be easily thrown away and destroyed for a tax write-off. That's why we have desk jackets. They don't really serve any purpose. We can easily print the art on a laminated hardback. You know, it's actually higher quality. What's his name? I'm trying to remember the other guy's name. I have it listed here somewhere. Nigel, that's right. All right, what's next to listen to? Grey Dawn. We haven't listened to this one in a while. All right. One of the cool thing about old stuff is if you're buying something old, it's already past that filter of like all the badly made ones have broken already. So like you're left with the one that's, you know, Lindy. You're left with the one that's probably not going to break. That's like survived the test of time. It's going to keep working. That was like one of the best ones made. Anything that is a little bit subpar gets broken and thrown away. So if you get something that's old, you're automatically getting something that is better made than probably even the same kind of thing that was made at the time, because it survived the years, you know. Yeah, survivor bias. Okay. Okay. I wrote a couple good scenes here. It's been a lot of time pontificating, which is fun too. I want to get at least like 1,000 words written. Yeah, we've done 1,000. I could probably call it there. I hear my kids having a great time in the other room. They're having a lot of fun. Let's see what's another good one. Oh, there's a little synth improv. Here's an ad first. We'll do an ad. Experience an easier way to manage your diabetes. Luckily, I don't have to manage diabetes. I feel very lucky that I don't have to do that. It's really good to not have to do that, actually. Yeah, the Zeniths. Yeah. Did you get further in Final Fantasy 14 or check out Final Fantasy 11? I have not. I've not been able to play much at all the last couple of weeks. So I think I've played some. I hadn't finished Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, so I went back to just finish that one off, and I'll probably finish that this week when I have time. Just a bunch of things came up. Like I said, my neighbor's son died really unexpectedly. So, you know, that took a little time. Daughter's not sleeping. That took time. What else did we have going on? And we just had a bunch of things going on, over the weekend that have just kind of taken up time. Oh, my sister was visiting, so I spent time with her, you know. A lot of stuff that happened. Unfortunately, gaming is kind of the lower priority. I haven't put out any new music recently, too. I'll be putting out like some alternate takes as I go here. When you think of Bob Dylan and Neil Diamond, I haven't listened to either one in a really long time. So Neil Diamond's music I've never really been interested in. It's fine. I don't think it's bad, but I don't really like to listen to it. Same thing really with Bob Dylan's music. I just don't really enjoy it. It's not for me. I know people like the lyrics. I really don't like his vocal delivery, and so I just usually don't listen to his music at all. So there's no more Creative Mind streams anymore either. Well, I finished that series. I'll probably put out a Creative Mind book, a short book, probably free, might be free. But yeah, that series is done. Right now I'm just doing this to finish this book up, and then we will figure out the next set of streams probably in March. I'm going to do a lot more content in March to try to promote this this Kickstarter. Make sure you save it. There are 2 or 3 Bob Dylan covers by Elvis. I'm aware of those. There's a couple of good Bob Dylan covers by other artists as well that improve on the vocal delivery. I kind of think Bob Dylan's unique vocal delivery, it's kind of part of his auteur personality. I just don't choose to listen to it a lot, personally. Nothing, I wouldn't throw shade at him. That's a pretty common complaint. Is like, he's a bad singer. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like Kurt Cobain. I don't think Kurt Cobain's a good singer, but like his delivery is part of the flavor of Nirvana. So to put a better singer in Nirvana, I think would rob it a lot of what makes Nirvana worth listening to at all, which is that auteur kind of grit, that kind of direct punk artistry that Kurt Cobain did. Same idea. I think Bob Dylan, I don't know, there's a certain quality to it, a certain je ne sais quoi. what was the name that I came up with? I gotta think of a letter I haven't used yet. Let's think of a letter I haven't used yet. K.
Are you looking for a new fence or gate for your home or property? Type in your address.
Thanks for interrupting this like great soundscape with an ad, YouTube. That's what I love. It's perfect. On an unmonetized video, by the way. It's not like I get any money for that. Would you put Leonard Cohen in the same auteur category? Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, Leonard Cohen, Nick Cave. Who are some other guys that are maybe like that? I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan when he was alive, for sure. There's just something to his playing. But although Stevie played a lot of covers, so I don't know. Yeah, probably Linda Cohen's a good one, or maybe Carole King. I think the modern equivalent would probably be Adele, but I just haven't paid attention to her music in so many years. I gotta think of a letter I haven't used yet. All right, almost done with this scene. Let's find some more. All right, that's it for today. I need to pause there. Okay. Despite all the pontificating, I still think we probably wrote 1,500 words. 2,000 words. That's okay. Try to get some more of these in, like during the weekend and stuff. Yeah, Randy Newman's voice is very characteristic in his writing too. Phil Collins might be another auteur. Anyway, I gotta get going. I will see you all next time. Have a great day. Let me put this on your Kickstarter notifications. King Leopard's coming out. It's your chance to get a signed copy. I don't do book signings, so this is a rare thing. So make sure you grab it when you can. And I'll see you all next time. Let me link the music again. I'll link everything. Patreon. Patrons. Needle Lash is up. All 3 books for patrons. Make sure you're subscribed to the Substack. I'm going to try to do like 30 Substack articles in March. I'm going to try to do a bunch. To try to promote the Kickstarter. I'm going to try to do a bunch of content too. Like 30 pieces of content. 30 videos. 30 articles. We'll see if we can get this thing funded. And if it can't be funded, then that just means that people didn't really care about that. And that's okay. I won't print it. All right, that's it, I think. Oh, I'll link the music again. All right, that's it. Have a great one, and I'll see you all next time.
Thank you.